this, you'll see that in the year 2014, this particular soldier had 5 different encounters where he received the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine. How could he receive the COVID-19 vaccine from Moderna in the year 2014 if it didn't exist until 2020? If Operation Warp Speed didn't create this vaccine in a week, which we were told it did, how the hell did this guy get a bunch of jabs from this in 2014?
That blacked out page, which we had to black out because of the fact that it was personally identifiable medical information and also would have put the person at risk. Do you see the date there? November 14th at Irwin ACH, Fort Riley, Kansas, COVID-19 immunization, Moderna. 5 different instances. And following this page, you'll see 5 different instances where this person's medical record, you see at the very top, 2014, at Irwin ACH, Fort Riley, Kansas, COVID-19 immunization by Moderna.
We know Anthony Fauci and his crew were involved, and according to the whistleblower, Fauci was directly involved with CIA work on this, which is very, very likely because of the relationship of NIH and the CIA, which is a legally documented thing. He created this in a lab. It got out, killed millions. I don't think it got out by accident. I think it was released intentionally. I think this was part of the plan to undermine and steal the 2020 election and to kick off the Great Reset. So if you want to talk about CIA, you want to talk about conspiracy theories, you want to talk about corruption, look no further.
3 U.S. states have introduced legislation classifying and designating the mRNA injections as biological agents and weapons of mass destruction. The states include Minnesota was last year, and then a few weeks ago was Arizona, and then just yesterday was Tennessee. That's not the end of these developments. We have to remember the Alliance of Indigenous Nations, which is an international governing body recognized by Canada on a nation-to-nation basis. They also declared these injections as biological and technological weapons of mass destruction a few months ago. And so we have that, and then we have a peer-reviewed paper in the Journal of American Physicians and Surgeons where we identify that these injections have components within them that violate the Biological Weapons Convention. And then we also have the World Council for Health. They have declared these shots as biological weapons. And so as all of these declarations mount, it's only a matter of time before these injections become outlawed. And you mentioned in Arizona terrorism. If that bill goes through, possessing, distributing, or manufacturing these shots will constitute terrorism-related charges and life imprisonment. And rightfully so, given that these shots have killed, injured, and disabled millions upon millions of people across the globe, rivaling hundreds of Hiroshima nuclear attacks.
Without folks like you on Capitol Hill, we would just be in the dark all the time. Tell me about this report and how concerning it is to you, because if it's 10, what's the real number?
My main concern is it dramatically understates the problem here. In any of these analyses, you're going to have doctors doing the analysis. And by the way, it's very difficult to get autopsies during the pandemic. Medical professors didn't want to know. So there are very few autopsies. So the NIH or CDC, FDA reviewed 96 autopsies of children and came up with about 10 they thought were possible or probable. Now, from my standpoint, when you look at the data, it was safety signals were screaming at you. Best way to describe this is currently on VAERS, you have almost 1.7 million total adverse events. You have 39,000 deaths. These are worldwide figures. Of the 39,000 deaths, 24% occurred on the day of vaccination or within 1 or 2 days. So the FDA officials always say, but VAERS doesn't prove causation, and that's true. But again, if you are perfectly healthy and you went and got a jab and you died that day or within 1 or 2 days, I know what I would be blaming. Now, there may be cases where people were in bad health anyway, and that just tipped them over, and really the cause of death was something else. But the bigger revelation, Steve, was what we unveiled 3 weeks ago, which is still not being covered by the mainstream media. And that is that on March 1st of 2021, Peter Marks, the head of CBER, the division within FDA that approves vaccines and then surveils the safety of them after approval, was briefed that their algorithm that analyzed the VAERS safety system was going to hide and mask safety signals. 26 days later, he had a data run on a new algorithm that unmasked. They had 49 cases of extreme masking revealed, 25 safety signals, including sudden cardiac death, pulmonary infarction, Bell's palsy, different types of strokes. Next 3 months, they got similar type of data runs with the new algorithm, showing more safety signals, more different types of sudden death. They didn't pin a badge on Dr. Anna Scharsman, who's the data mining expert that showed them this. They shunned her off to the side. They ordered her to cease and desist, and they decided to use the algorithm that they knew that they were warned was going to hide safety signals, and they're clinging to that to this day. Peter Marks has gone off to work for Eli Lilly, and the entire world is in the state of denial, basically. The COVID cartel remains as powerful as it always was. I cannot get the story broadcast. I cannot get an interview on CBS, ABC, NBC, PBS, MS Now, CNN. I challenged Jake Tapper. I was on a show, want to talk about something else. I said, Jake, I really want to talk about this. I'm going to send you the report. Read it. Have me on. Haven't been invited back yet.